We are back, and this time we're going to start stepping up with our skills. So while you're away from the track, there's still a lot of things you can do to practice those skills so when the tracks open back up again, you have a lot more confidence and it doesn't feel like you've been sitting on the sidelines for too long. So back to the trusty whiteboard that I've been not really getting much better at, but we're going to start off with manuals. So as you know, a manual is a bit like a wheelie without pedaling, going along on your back wheel, trying to hold that balance point. Some key things to work on are that upper body, making sure it's nice and strong at the start, but then trying to use those hips to control that front wheel height. If you can, start to learn to use a finger on the brake because that's going to control you from flipping it, and also it's going to hold that front wheel at a better height. Try and start off using flats and on the grass just to get that balance point before you do it on the road or other hard surfaces, just in case you loop out. Bunny hops. So this time, again, flat pedals, no cheating using your clip pedals. Try and make sure you curl those feet around those platform pedals and try and grab them with your toes as best as possible. And you're going to use your whole body weight this time. So making sure that you're squatting down before you get to the markers, and then making sure your arms, legs, your whole body is working together to lift that bike up. A little bit more strength in the front end to get that up first, and then make sure you level that bike out in the air. Again, when you're landing, try and cushion it down with your whole body. Next one, pedal manual. So again, this is a wheelie, but we're trying to just use the terminologies that you're going to use when you get back out on the track. And as you saw with some of the advanced tips that we've got on the videos, you can practice a lot of this stuff away from it. So coming up to that marker, lifting that front wheel up, keeping that central body position and getting used to being comfortable pedaling with that front wheel in the air can come in handy on some jumps. Slalom manual, this one's getting a little bit harder. So just like in the beginner tips where we're weaving in and out of the cones, this time you're going to try and do the same thing but on your back wheel. So it takes a lot more balance. You've got to really have control, moving those hips left and right when you go through it, and a really good balance point as we said. Next one, bunny hop manual. So it's a bit like a jump manual. So again, trying to practice it away from the track. So coming up to the marker, making sure you do that bunny hop, but this time instead of landing both wheels, you're going to land on that back wheel and try and get into that balance point just like you would do with a normal manual. Last one, tap manuals. So this time going along on your back wheel in a manual and just trying to do little bunny hops on that back wheel. So trying to land back on your back wheel and hold that wheel up. It's a lot harder, it takes a lot more strength and a lot more balance. But again, just start off a little bit slower and just smaller hops, and then they can get bigger as you go along. So again, to do all these skills, we need a bike, we need a helmet, we need some gloves. And just make sure that again, when you go to some of these different areas, if you can't do this at home, is with car parks, netball courts and housing estates, make sure it's all clear, make sure that you've checked with council that it's all okay to be there, and stick to those isolation guidelines as well. So that's about it for these skills. I'm sure there's a lot more things that you guys can think up using these skills, so make sure you send us through some videos and show us what you're up to, and I hope it gets you back onto the track soon.
Yeah.